You know that feeling when you're using an AI chatbot and it just gets stuck? It starts giving you the same kinds of ideas over and over again? Well, what if the secret to unlocking real creativity isn't about building a better single AI, but about building a better AI team? Today, we are going to dive into some incredible research that shows how giving AI a personality can totally change the game for brainstorming.
I mean, think about it, right? The best ideas, they almost never come from one person just sitting alone in a room. They pop up from debate, from different perspectives clashing and then connecting in new ways. They come from a team of people who all bring their own unique baggage and experience to the table.
Okay, so let's start with this core concept. For years, we've known that the real magic of brainstorming happens when you get a diverse group of people in a room. An engineer, a designer, a marketer, they're all looking at the exact same problem, but they see it through completely different eyes. And this quote from the Creativity Research Journal just hits the nail on the head. It basically says you don't need a single superhero who knows everything. You just need a group where altogether the knowledge is there. That's the secret sauce. That's what lets you find those really innovative, divergent ideas, the ones that take you in a direction you never would have expected. So, how does this apply to AI? Well, if you ask one large language model to brainstorm, or even a bunch of identical copies of it, they tend to get stuck in a rut. It's like a digital version of groupthink, where they just echo the same ideas back and forth. But a diverse AI team, just like a human one, can bring different perspectives to the table, creating brand new connections and avoiding those huge blind spots. And this is where it gets really cool. Researchers at Meta had this brilliant idea, totally inspired by how the best human teams operate. They thought, instead of using these generic jack-of-all-trades AIs, what if we built an AI dream team by giving each one a unique persona? So what even is an AI persona? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a job description for the AI. It's a prompt that tells the agent, this is who you are, this is what you know, and this is what you care about. It's a simple little instruction, but it completely changes how the AI sees the world. For example, you could give one AI the persona of a doctor. Its entire thought process is now filtered through that lens. When you ask it a question, it's going to think about patient safety, about clinical accuracy, and about how things work in a real-world hospital. And then you pair that doctor with a totally different mind, a VR engineer. This agent doesn't think about patients, it thinks about haptic feedback, simulation tech, and user immersion. Suddenly, you don't have two AIs, you have two distinct experts ready to tackle a problem together.
All right, so that all sounds amazing in theory, right? But does it actually work? Let's get to the experiment itself and see how this persona-powered team did when the rubber met the road.
The researchers gave these different AI teams a single, really important question to brainstorm. It's a complex problem that sits right at that intersection of medicine and technology. So yeah, it was the perfect test for our doctor and VR engineer team. And what they discovered was fascinating. The most effective strategy wasn't just to throw the AIs into a virtual room together. No, it was this really clever two-step process they call separate, then together. First, you let each AI go off and brainstorm alone. That's the diverge part. Let their unique personality really shine. Then, you bring them together to share, debate, and combine their ideas. That's the converge part. And here's where we can actually see the difference this makes. The researchers were able to map out all the ideas generated by the teams to create something they call an idea space. It's a visual map of their thoughts. And wow, the results are just night and day. On one side, you have the ideas from two generic AIs. It's basically one big, dense blob where all the concepts are overlapping. But then you look at the doctor and VR engineer, and you see two completely separate, distinct clusters of ideas. One is all clinical, the other is all technical. They covered so much more creative ground. And this isn't just something that looks cool, the hard numbers back it all up. Using a metric called an idea separation score, which is just a fancy way of measuring how unique the ideas from each agent are, you can see the persona pairs just blew the generalists out of the water. A higher score means more diverse, less overlapping ideas, and they nailed it. And that difference in diversity leads directly to a huge difference in quality. The generalist AIs came up with, well, pretty generic stuff like AI chatbots and mobile learning. But the doctor and VR engineer team, they were talking about specific expert-level concepts, like using haptics in surgical training and creating VR simulations with real-time data-driven feedback. These aren't just more creative ideas, they're way more useful ideas. So this is all really fascinating, but what does it actually mean for the future? This isn't just some neat lab experiment. It has huge, real-world implications for how we solve just about any problem. I mean, just imagine it. A student brainstorming a project, not alone, but with a team of AI peers. An AI artist, an AI historian, an AI scientist. Or a company that can instantly simulate a product design meeting with virtual personas to find the best solutions in a fraction of the time. Heck, this could even be used by AI systems themselves to organize internal teams to check their own work and find better solutions. And that leaves us with a really powerful final thought. The future of AI might not be about building a single all-knowing oracle. It might be about us becoming expert conductors, learning how to assemble these specialized AI teams with just the right mix of personalities to solve our biggest, most complex challenges. The only question is, where do we tell them to start?